best of your health. Today we are going to begin with a new chapter from the Indian history, where we are studying about the British policies and their impact. The previous chapter we learned about the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, the Treaty of Allahabad, etc. Hope you can recall. The British East India Company, which was just a trading company, now they have become the masters of Bengal. Okay, Bengal, which means the province of Bengal included Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. Okay, and you know it, by the Treaty of Allahabad, after signing the year 1765, after signing the Treaty of Allahabad, Emperor Shah Alam II had granted the British East India Company what right? Diwani right. Diwani right. That means the right to collect revenues or taxes in the province of Bengal. Okay? Now historically, if you see, before the Britishers came to India, 95% of the Indians lived in villages, and the main occupation was agriculture. And this agriculture was the main occupation, and the villages and the cultivators paid the taxes to the rulers before the Britishers came in kind, and if they could pay in cash also. But after the Britishers came over India and they took up Bengal, and once the Diwani right was granted by Shah Alam, the Mughal emperor, to the British East India Company, they started collecting revenues in the form of cash. Diwani right is collection of taxes or revenues. So now they started collecting in cash. This is quite difficult for the people because most of them were agriculturists. Now, since they had to pay to the company, British East India Company, in cash, so what happens? They start cultivating cash crops like jute, sugarcane, cotton, etc. So production in the field of food crops like rice, wheat and all go down. They start going down. And that's again what happens. There's a famine, breaks out in Bengal. There's a lot of problem that comes in Bengal, mostly in the province of Bengal. Added to that, the British East India Company had to pay the British government certain amount of money. And how did they pay? They collected the revenues from the people and paid to the home government, that is England. Clear? So lots of problems were going on. So what happens now? The next Governor General of Bengal, that is Lord Cornwallis. Who? Lord Cornwallis. Lord Cornwallis was the next Governor General of Bengal, introduces certain reforms, especially in the field of collection of revenues. Okay, the taxes. So what is he does is he introduces three types of land reforms. Okay. Now, what are they? What you need to understand is the three types of land reforms from where revenues were collected. You need to understand the meaning of it and what is it. I'll explain. Who started? Lord Cornwallis. The first type of revenue system or the land revenue system that was introduced in the province of Bengal was the permanent settlement. Permanent settlement. This was the first type of land revenue system introduced by the British government. Okay, the British government. It was introduced in the province of Bengal in the year 1793. 1793. Now, what was this permanent settlement? Now, as I told you earlier, there were the cultivators, the farmers, they owned the land. And what happens now? Slowly, the revenues, this land are given to the people called as zamindars. Zamindars. The land is given to the zamindars. Okay? And the zamindars become the permanent owners. Permanent owners of the land, and the British government or the officials who who collected revenues. Collected the revenues from the zamindars. The land which is there was given to the zamindars. And the zamindars, they did not cultivate the land. Farmers obviously they cultivated. So zamindars collected the revenues from the farmers and paid to the company officials. Okay, permanent settlement was a system where land was owned, collectively not collectively, given to the zamindars. Okay, and these zamindars paid the revenues for the taxes to the company officials. The zamindars themselves did not cultivate the land. They were tenants or the farmers who cultivated. Zamindars collected the revenues from those farmers and the zamindars paid the revenues to the company officials. The other feature from there what you see is zamindars are the permanent owners of the land and it started to become hereditary. A plot of land owned by one zamindar passed on to his successors or his children and grandchildren and so on. So they were permanent and revenue was fixed. Revenue was fixed. Whether there is crop, whether there is cultivation is there, whether there is production or not, no matter. If there is a failure of crops and all, they are least bothered. The company officials are least bothered because revenue was fixed and they collected strictly from the zamindars. And the zamindars collected from the farmers. Finally, the burden falls on the farmers. Okay? Whether the crop is there, whether there is a failure of crop, they have to pay a fixed revenue to the zamindars who directly pay to the company officials. That is the permanent settlement, the land revenue system, the first one. Second one, system was royalty system. Royalty system. The second type of land revenue system that was introduced was the royalty system, which was introduced in Madras provinces. The province of Madras. Okay? Royal here means the farmer. Royal means the farmer or the cultivator. Under this type of system, the land was owned by the farmer or the cultivator. The one who cultivates the land, they were the owners of the land, and revenue was collected from the farmer himself. The cultivator had to pay the revenue directly to the company officials. Okay? And it was paid in cash form, obviously. Got it? Royalty system was a system of land revenue system where the royals, that is the farmer or the cultivator, they were the owners of the land and it was these farmers who directly paid the revenues to the company officials. Got it? That is the royalty system which was introduced in the province of Madras. The third one, known as Malwari system. Malwari system, which was introduced in UP, Punjab, and let's say Madhya Pradesh. Which was introduced in Uttar Pradesh, parts of Uttar Pradesh. It was introduced in Punjab and some parts of Madhya Pradesh. Collection of revenue. We are talking about the impact. Okay, policies, one of the policies, especially with regard to land revenue system. Now, Mahal means village. Mahal means village. Okay. Under this type of land revenue system, the land was collectively owned by a village. That means in a village there are many people out there. 10 different families. Okay? The land which belonged to the village were collectively owned by these villagers. Are you following me? And the revenues were collected from the village. How? Now, in the village, there is a headman, the senior most person in the village, okay, known as Taludas, or the, let's say, senior most person. He was the head of the village, and the company officials collected the revenue from the head of the village. Who the head of the village collected from his villagers. Okay? Under this type of system, the land was collectively owned by the cultivators, farmers of the villagers, and the revenues were collected by the government from the head of the village. Do you get me? Head of the village. It was collectively owned, and revenues were collected from the villages collectively, which is collected from the head of the village. So these were the three types of land revenue system which were introduced by the British East India Company. What are they? Permanent settlement. Into knowing what it means. Royalty system, royalty farm, then permanent system, means the village where lands are collectively owned. Do you get it? The next one is, let us see, the field of transport and communication. What did the British East India Company do with regard to transport and communication system? Now, before the British East India came to India, okay, before they settled in India, the transport and communication system in India was very, very backward. It was very, very backward. There were no proper roads or communication system were not there. Now, the British East India Company, they are what? Traders. Okay? It's a profit-making company. Now, what happens? They realize that in order to make more profit, in order to collect raw materials from one place to another, what do they need? They need proper transport and communication facilities. What do they need? They need proper transport and communication facilities. Till 18th century, it was very, very bad. Now, they start developing transport. They start developing transport and communication facilities, which means they start constructing roads, connecting each village, one village after the other, added to the vertical roads. Canals were made, railways were introduced. All these facilities with regard to transport and communication was introduced by the British East India Company. Not for the development of the country, keep this in mind, not for the development of the country, but to consolidate their position in India. There are different regions, different, not only the province of Bengal, they have control of their factories, they have bases in different parts of the country. And they were not connected properly. So, in order to consolidate their position, okay, they started developing transport facilities by constructing roads, canals, and railways. The intention here was to consolidate their position and to promote trade and commerce for their own personal motive. Okay, how did they do it? They did it by roads, canals, by building roads, canals, and railways. Okay, the first railway line was inaugurated by Lord Dalhousie from Bombay to Thane in the year 1853. The first railway line was introduced. Okay, then a Grand Trunk Road, you have heard about it, isn't it? The Grand Trunk Road was constructed from Calcutta to Peshawar in Pakistan. The brick long road was made by the British East India Company. Not for the development of the country, keep this in mind, but to consolidate their position and to promote trade and commerce. Do you get it? Now, because of the development of transport and communication facilities, what happened? It helped the British East India Company. How did this? A development of transport, roads, canals, construction road canals, railways, etc. helped the British East India Company. First and foremost, it helped them in transporting raw materials from one place to another. Transport of raw materials as well as produced goods and commodities were the goods and commodities which were produced from England and brought and sold it. They were sold in different parts of the country. Raw materials were collected from different parts of the country. And this development transport facilities helped them in the transport of raw materials, goods and commodities. duties. Added to that, it also helped them to transfer troops or armies, arms and ammunitions. Okay, the roads, railways which the British East India Company had constructed after they settled in India helped them to transfer troops or soldiers. And there were revolts or riots going on against the British East India Company in different places. Okay, so if there is a riot or revolt in certain place, the introduction of roads or the railways will ensure the British East India Company to transfer the troops, soldiers, arms and ammunition and to suppress the revolt in time. This way it helped the British East India Company. It not only helped the British East India Company, it also helped the Indians. It also helped the Indians. How? The Indians now, the farmers also could sell their raw materials, goods and commodities and move from one place to another easily. Because there is connectivity which was done with the help of construction, roads, canals, bridges and railway lines and so on. Okay? Now, how did it help Indians? It helped them, it stimulated, it encouraged trade and commerce among the Indian businessmen and merchants also. It also benefited them also. Added to that, not only it stimulated trade and commerce, it united the Indians. The Indians, people who were placed in different places and all. Now, they are connected with the help of roads, bridges, railway lines and all. They are connected with one another. Okay? So what happens? People of this region, they come to know about this place, people and all. So they come to know one another. If they start doing the trade and business also, it not only brought them closer, what happens? It developed in them a spirit of unity and nationalism. Unity and nationalism. Are you following it? Okay? Which later on becomes functional, fruitful, helpful to fight against the British East India Company. For the first time, the Indians fight against the British East India Company in the year 1857, which is known as the Revolt of 1857 or the First War of Indian Independence, which itself is another chapter which we'll be seeing later on. Okay? Things that we have done so far. Under this chapter, we will be studying about the revenue system that they introduced. Then the next topic we will be studying about the education policy. The education policy introduced by the British East India Company. So before that, the three types of land revenue system that they introduced, that the British East India Company, once Lord Cornwallis became the Governor General of Bengal, he introduced land revenue system. Earlier, revenues were paid in cash or in kind to the rulers. Now, the Treaty of Allahabad had granted the Diwani rights to the British East India Company. So they were the ones who were collecting revenues and they collected in cash. Okay? Now, to collect those cash, what happens is the British East India Company introduces three types of land revenue system. First one, the permanent settlement, where the zamindars became the permanent owners of the land. They were the ones who paid the revenues to the British East India Company directly, and land ownership became what? Hereditary. And they had to pay fixed revenue, which was introduced in the province of Bengal. Second one was royalty system. Royalty means the farmer. Under the system, the cultivator, the farmer or the tenant, they were the owners of the land. It was introduced in Madras Presidency. Okay, the province of Madras. And the farmers directly paid the revenues to the British East India Company officials. Third one was the Mahalmari system. Mahal means the village. Under this system, the villages or a group of villages owned the land. And the head of the village paid the revenue to the British East India Company. Three types of revenue system. Permanent settlement, royalty system and Mahalmari system. Advantage, disadvantage, if you don't know, you need to understand what they are. Okay? Then the next step that they took was they started developing transport and communication facilities in India. Before 18th century, the transport communication facilities in India was very, very backward. Now, why did the British East India Company introduce or start constructing these roads, transport facilities? Not for the development of the country, but to consolidate their position and to promote their trade and commerce. That was the main intention. So in the process, they made the first railway line, then the long road known as the Grand Trunk Road was constructed by the British East India Company. It benefited both the Britishers as well as the Indians. For the Britishers, the developed transport and communication facilities helped them to transport raw materials from one place to another, move goods and commodities from one place to another. Added to that, when there were revolts, suppression or aggression, fighting between the Indians and the Britishers at that time also, the railways ensured quick transfer of troops, arms and ammunition to suppress or to crush the revolt. That was for the Britishers. For the Indians, they also benefited. Indians also benefited because of the development of transport and communication facilities. How did it do? It stimulated trade and commerce amongst them. But the most important one was it brought unity amongst the Indians, and later on it infused in them, or it gave the birth of the spirit of nationalism, which means we belong to one nation. We all are alike. We all are from the same country, and that sort of feeling was brought up or came into existence because of the development in the field of transport and communication facilities. The next topic that we will be studying will be the education policy. Okay? Okay, this much for today. Take care, stay safe, and have a nice day. Thank you.